Here is the video for the Chapter 4 study guide. The first part, we're going to write and solve an equation for the problems below. Remember, an equation has numbers, variables, and an equal sign in it. You could use the 5D to kind of set this up for each one of these. So the first problem says the perimeter of a triangle is 33 centimeters. The second side is twice as long as the first side, and the third side is 8 centimeters longer than the second. So if I made like a little table, I could have first, second, third. So the first side is x. Second side is twice as long, so I'd make it 2x. Third side is 8 centimeters longer than the second, so I'd make it 2x plus 8. So then I'd write my equation. I combine like terms. I end up having a 5x plus 8 equals 33, and then I solve. Divide both sides by 5. I get x equals 5. So I know the first side is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. So then in a complete sentence, I say the sides of the triangle are 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters, and 18 centimeters. Problem number 2 says Tanya's age is 10 years greater than half of Aaron's age. So if I do Aaron and Tanya, so Aaron would be x. Tanya is 10 years greater, so x plus 10, but half, so 1/2 x plus 10. So when I combine like terms, I have 1 plus 1.5, or 1.5x plus 10 equals 55, and then I solve. Divide by 1.5, I end up getting 30. So that means Aaron is 30. 1/2 of 30 is 15, plus 10 is 25. Tanya is 25. So Aaron is 30. And Tanya is 25. Problem number 3, one number is 16 more than another number. So let's see, first number, second number. So x, the other one's x plus 16. The sum of the two is 462. So I get 2x plus 16 equals 462. Subtract 16. I get 2x equals 446. Divide by 2. I get x equals 223. So if x is 223 plus 16 would be 239. So the two numbers are 223 and 239. Next set of problems says, what are the rates of each of the following situations? Show work on each. So the first one, Jennifer babysat for 7 hours and earned $52.50. What is her hourly rate of pay? So I would just do $52.50 divided by 7, put in my calculator, and I end up with $7.50 per hour. For B, Zeke drove 346 miles in 8 hours, which is average rate of speed, miles per hour. So I divide 346 by 8, and I got 43.25 miles per hour. So it goes about 43.25 miles every hour. Will bought 14 feet of rope for $10.50. What does the rope cost per foot? So $10.50 divided by 14 gives me 75 cents per foot. Okay, problem number 5, an airplane is flying at an elevation of 20,000 feet and descends at a rate of 325 per minute for 8 minutes. What's the new elevation? How do you know? So the first thing that I did was figure out how far it had gone in 8 minutes. So if it's going 325 per minute, so I did 325 times 8. So I got 2,600. And then I did 20,000 minus 2,600 and ended up with 17,400 feet. Problem number 6, the level of water in a water tank is currently 50 feet and is being lowered at a rate of 0.75 feet per day. How many days will it take for the water level to reach 41? So first I need to figure out how many total feet I want it to go down. So it turns out it's 9 feet. So I got to figure out how many days does it take to lower 9 feet. So I did 9 divided by 0.75, and it ends up it's 12 days. Problem 7 through 12, I'm simplifying. So the first one, I'm combining like terms, so it's addition. So I'm just going to take my x squareds, put them together, my x's, and put them together, and my 6 and 7. So when I do that, I get 3x squared plus 6x plus 13. That's my final answer. For 8, I did a little differently because I'm adding the first two and then subtracting the last one. So I combined like terms first with the first two. So I ended up with 2x squared plus 9x plus 17. And I know this negative changes everything to its opposite. So I have minus 2x squared plus 3x minus 10. So when I combine like terms, these actually cancel out because they're 2x squared minus 2x squared. 9x plus 3x is a 12x, and 17 minus 10 is going to be 7. So I got 12x. Oh, 17, this should be a 20. 20 minus 10 is going to give me 10. So I get 12x plus 10. For problem number 9, first thing I should realize, I have two negatives next to each other, so they become positives. So I have the b squareds. I have 6b squared and 13b squared, so I have 19b squared. 5b minus 8b is going to give me a negative 3b, and 25 plus 5 is going to give me 30. For number 10, I have to distribute that 2 first, so I get 2x plus 10 plus 3x squared minus 7x squared minus 6x minus 9. So then I'm going to combine my x squareds to get a negative 4x squared. My x's, I get a negative 4x, and 10 minus 9 is going to give me plus 1. For number 11, I have nothing to change, so I'm just going to combine. So I have negative 8 squared and negative 3a squared. So I get negative 11a squared. 2a plus a is 3a plus 3, because 5 minus 2 is 3. This I have to distribute a negative through first. So I get 3x squared plus 6x plus 5 minus x squared minus 8x minus 5. 3x squared minus x squared is 2x squared. 6x minus 8 is a negative 2x. And then the 5's actually cancel because they give me 0. For the next section, I am evaluating each expression, so I have to plug them all in. So the first one, it's negative 3 to the 4th power. So remember, we put it in parentheses because it's really negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. Or 9 times 3 is 27, times 3, the answer is going to be 81, but positive 81. 14, I do 11 plus 4, and then divide by 5. So I get 15 divided by 5. So the answer is 3. For column 15, I plug everything in. I have negative 2 minus 5 minus negative 3. So I get negative 2. This becomes a positive 15, which is positive 13. Plug in 3 for this one. 4 times 3 plus negative 2 gives me 12 plus negative 2, or 10. 17, I plug in negative 10 plus 10 times negative 10 minus 10. So I end up with 0 times negative 20, which is going to give me 0. And then plugging in negative 4, I get negative 4 squared plus negative 4 plus 1. So this is positive 16 plus negative 4 plus 1, 12 plus 1, or 13. The next set of problems we're solving. So in problem 19, I'm going to first subtract an x from both sides. So I get 3x plus 1 equals negative 5. Subtract 1, 3x equals negative 6. I end up with x equals negative 2. For 20, I have to distribute first. So I get 10x plus 6 equals 6x minus 3. Subtract 6x. I get 4x plus 6 equals negative 3. Subtract 6. 4x equals negative 9. So divide both sides by 4. I can get x equals, I can just leave it as 9 over 4, or I can change it into a decimal. Problem 21. We actually haven't learned how to solve that yet, so that was a typo. So just don't worry about 21. Problem 22. We're going to get 3x minus 60 equals 1. Add 60 to both sides. I get 3x equals 61. Divide by 3. So I get x equals, you can just leave it as 61 over 3 or simplify it. Problem 23, first thing I'm going to do is distribute everything. So I get 3x plus 15 minus 2x plus 2 equals 4. Combine like terms, I end up with x plus 17 equals 4. Subtract 17 from both sides. I end up with x equals negative 13. Problem 24, first thing I'm going to do is distribute my negative. So I get negative 5x minus 4 equals negative 3x minus 2. Add 3x to both sides. I get negative 2x minus 4 equals negative 2. Add 4. Negative 2x equals 2. Divide by negative 2. I get x equals negative 1. The next section is about circles, which on the test, we're actually going to give you the formulas. So in the first part, it says, answer the questions about circles below. Remember that the radius goes halfway across the circle. The diameter goes all the way across. The formulas are below. So circumference or perimeter of a circle is c equals 2 times pi times radius, or diameter times pi. And then area is pi times radius squared. So for this first problem, problem 25, it says consider the circle drawn. What's the length of the radius? The radius is halfway across, so it would be 10 centimeters. What's the length of the diameter? It's 20 centimeters because it's all the way across. So the circumference, since I know both the radius and the diameter, I'm going to use circumference equals diameter times pi. So I'm going to do circumference is 20 times 3.14, and I get 62.8. For D, it says find the area. So area is pi times radius squared. My radius is 10. So 3.14 times 10 squared, or 100, is 314 centimeters squared. Problem 26 says, what's the area of the shaded region in the figure? Follow the steps below. So it's like I'm taking the circle out, which is subtraction. So I find the area of both pieces and then subtract them. So for A, I'm going to do 24 times 24. So the area of the square is 576 inches squared. For B, I'm going to use area equals pi times radius squared. The radius is 12 because all the way across would be 24. So I do 3.14 times 12 squared, which is 452.16 inches squared. And then in the last part, I end up subtracting them. So I do 576 minus 452.16, which is 123.84 inches squared. Problem 27, there's a little error in the table. So I actually don't need this. I put one too many columns. It says Jennifer has a new sister named Chloe. Jennifer's mom, who's a pediatrician, has been tracking Chloe's growth. Assume that Chloe's growth rate is constant. First, we're going to finish completing the table. So I know that every 3 years it grows 4. So this is going down 4. So this would be 9 months old. Going down 3 again would be 6. It's growing by 4. So I'd get 67. So going down 3 would be 3 months old, which would be 63 centimeters. And then at birth, she was 59. So part B says, how tall was Chloe at birth? She was 59 centimeters was her height at birth. Then how many centimeters is she growing every? She's growing 4 centimeters every 3 months. Use the information from parts C and D to write an equation. Her height in centimeters and her x is her age in months. So every 3 months, so this is the first part we have to figure out. Every 3 months, she's growing 4 centimeters. So we have to do 4 over 3. That's how much she grows per month. So then in our equation, we're going to do y equals 4 over 3x plus the original birth weight, which was 59. So that's our formula. Then it says use your equation to project her height at 2 years old. So we would just plug it straight into the equation. So y equals 4 over 3. 24 is the number of months old she'd be in 2 years, plus 59. So if I put that in my calculator, I end up getting that it's 32 centimeters plus 59. So she would be 91 centimeters tall. The last problem had you matching the equations below, but forgot which equation went with which graph. Help her match each equation to the appropriate graph. Write the letter next to the equation. So for the first couple, I noticed that 2 of them have a y-intercept of -3 and 2 have of +1. So the 2 that have -3 that start here are both C and D. So C is going up by 1, a growth of 1, which would be D. D is growing by a growth of 1, where C is growing by a growth of 2. Notice how it's steeper. So this one would be C, and this one would be D. And then for the next one, they both start at 1. Well, B is going in a negative direction, so B has to be this one. And A is going in a positive direction, so it has to be this one.